Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat on a Wednesday night, one day different. One of the key members of the team was away, the Wizard, so we got him back now, and he said we could play on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. He's well rested, got his cape all pressed, and we're ready to get back at it, which is good because we have a busy 2 months ahead, eh, Adam? It's crazy. Are you going to join us now, or are you going to just ignore me like you did the whole preamble up to the start of the show where I tried to talk to you and you're just like,
To answer your question, Clinton, I drag my camera, like the vision of me, over top of your face so I don't have to look at you. That's
So
how
you
I
were
do the
listening to
show.
what I said.
I was trying to share the broadcast. I've had a lot going on this week, so
Yes.
I was
So
listening as I'm doing other things. It's but here we are, and it's good to be here.
let me stop right there and say, on a serious note, I love you guys and you're a huge part of what we do. A really tough week for you. Um, I don't know what to say, man. I love you. I hope you guys can work your way through this. From what I see, you're handling it really good. Why don't you tell the viewers who aren't fully immersed in what we've got going on each week, what's been going on in your life? And I can only, it's a very serious topic, but you're handling it so well. And just go, man.
In short, Mom died today. My mom, who's been battling Alzheimer's for a long time, um, finally lost the battle today, almost 2 months to the day after my father died. So since COVID, I've lost my father and my mother. So the two people closest to me, and we can't have funerals for them. So we are going to save up our time and our energy and throw one hell of a party when the borders open and it's okay to do so. But yeah, Clint, Mom lost her battle today. It was a long time coming, and we knew it was coming up. But it's been tough. But strangely, it's a big relief when you watch someone suffer for as long as they. And it wasn't a suffer in pain. Like we suffer more than they do, I think. But either way, the battle is over.
Yeah, I mean, you had to make a call basically on Sunday. So here we are a few days later. It was a long process for you, I know. But you're right. Your mom hasn't had a great quality life. Let's talk about the good things about your parents. Huge race fans, immersed in the racing deal, got you into racing, met at Oswego Speedway. Some of the stories you guys told were great. Had great fans. One thing that I was envious of you as a kid who got back into racing in my early 20s was when we go to Dirt Week. You knew everybody because you lived down there, living in Auburn before. And, you had a lot of connections that I was surprised by. And it used to piss me off, actually, because I said, I can't go anywhere with Adam Ross. We get 10 feet and he's got to talk to somebody else. We don't get anywhere. And I used to get aggravated by it. But now I realize, just how connected you were, I guess.
You know,
Your parents were early fans of us too. They'd come out to Ush Weekend, and you said it today. Your mom, one of the best advice she gave us was maybe you guys should just shut up once in a while. You're good,
and
but
she'd
just
always
give it a
she'd open
break.
with a compliment, right? You guys sound good,
Yeah,
but it's okay to shut up now and then. And but there are things that I still remember to this day, right? There are things that um, we do shut up once in a while. You may not think it, but a little bit of downtime to let something breathe a bit. Good advice. Both of our parents know racing pretty well, and I come from a racing background. People joke with me. I have a lot of Facebook friends. Uh, but my parents had a bigger social circle than anyone I ever knew. It was unbelievable the friends that they had, people that stayed over at our house. There were super dirt weeks where we had 6 motorhomes and campers parked in our lawn down the street because we lived right between New York State Fairgrounds and Rolling Wheels. So it was just that's where the party was. It was really neat. It was a fun family to grow up in. Um, we had a lot of awesome people around us, and like I've had years to get ready for Mom's departure and to say goodbye, and she's at peace now, so
yeah.
there's something to be said for that.
The other thing you said today is, she loved your dad so much, you knew that you weren't going to be apart for very long. So, rest in peace to your mom, man. Hugs all around. A horrible day, but
Thanks, brother.
you said, should we talk about the show? Absolutely, we should. We're family here. Everybody watches the show. They're immersed in what's going on.
Well, in fairness,
Anyways,
mom won a race. Dad never did. Mom won a powder puff
oh, there you
race.
go.
Mom won a powder puff race when the leader the leader had a wicked crash and flipped up in the air. She drove under. Mom was a part car owner in a dirt car back in the late 50s, early 60s, and then Dad was a car owner up here. So I mean, they both were big into racing and a big part of the scene. But when I came along, I don't want to say they were just race fans, but that was it. Dad wasn't a speedway official anymore, or a part of a race team, and neither was Mom. We were just fans that knew a lot of people and got to socialize everywhere. And Clint, it's something you and I don't get to do very often. You know, while people are having a great time at the races, we are too, but we're doing a job. You know what I mean? It's changed.
I
We're on
100%
the
get
other
it.
side of the fence, and I love it. I wouldn't change it. These are choices that I made, but I almost think I would have more friends if I was a fan. You know, sitting outside of my trailer as the races were about to come on. But I like being a part of the show. I like what we do.
I always feel like I'm 8 beers behind to my drinking buddies by the time we get off work. But you know, let's move on. Tough day, but we came here to talk about racing. We want to thank Mark Rinaldi for being with us. Mark is joining us now. Mark is proprietor, president on some days when Angie lets him be of Brighton Speedway. And Mark's also been someone who's been really tight with a lot of the racing promoters here in Ontario in dealing with the government and figuring out where we fit into this. If you're a regular viewer of the show, you followed this a lot. And also we're excited because we're going to Brighton this weekend with GeForce TV to present some live racing. So Mark, first, welcome off to the show. Great to have you, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for bringing me on again.
Mark, we brought you on first off to talk about what Phase 3 means for racing. There has been a lot of confusion since the announcement came out in our region in Niagara. I know you're already head down in your area, but here in Niagara, they're just going to Phase 3 this Friday at midnight. That means that we can now have what don't want to call piddly, but I will call it piddly 100 fans. It really doesn't do much for the financial model for the racetracks and any of the tracks that are hoping to really improve and get things going on a better gear, let's say. It's not really going to happen. So, Mark, why don't you just tell us your thoughts and where we are?
Yeah, so you're correct. I mean, we are allowed 100 spectators, and that is outside of the the competitors and the crew. So every track could have up to 100 spectators. But like Clint said, that makes it tough for our business model. There's a whole lot of costs that are involved when you open up to spectators, and it's really I guess it's every track's decision whether or not it makes sense or not. Um, it's disappointing for all the hard work we put in. You know, the promoters and myself, and we asked for more, and we've since last week submitted another plan and on Friday to the government, and we're waiting for feedback on that. So we're kind of hoping that leads to more. But it was disappointing because we put a lot of work and a lot of effort, and we got a lot of feedback from them that are good, and everything was looking positive. But what then we got back from them, obviously the 100 people just didn't match what they were telling us that we were hoping to get.
Mark, on a regular night at Brighton Speedway, how many employees do you have on the front side of the racetrack, on the fan side?
I'm gonna say, and obviously we wouldn't need all of those, but on a regular Saturday night, we're probably 60 plus employees, and probably 35 of them would be on the front side of the track.
So, and really, there's that much work to be done. Whether there's 100 people in the stands or whether there's 5,000 people in the stands, you still need most of those 30, 35 people doing their jobs because they all perform a function. So I can't see where 100 fans
Yeah,
is.
yeah, we probably don't need all 35. Obviously there's a scale, but you're right. There's certain positions you can't live without. I mean, the other thing that people don't realize is, your insurance goes up as soon as you have spectators because your liability goes up. Now you have to open up your washrooms on the spectator side. Well, us here at Brighton, we're on a town water program, so there's a lot of hidden costs that people don't really see. Opening up to 100 spectators, you don't get to diversify that over 1,000 or 2,000 spectators, right? So now it's a cost per 100 spectators, and it just unfortunately doesn't work for us. I know some tracks are trying to make it work. Um, I was more focused on going back to the government with a new and hopefully getting them to accept it. That, like I said, it was submitted Friday. I've yet to get feedback from them. I was really hoping to get something this early. I'd like to open up to 500 people this weekend, but it's not going to happen. And we're going to go ahead this weekend with no spectators and give everybody the chance to see it on G-Force TV. And I think people are excited for that.
Mark, let's talk about that. So you said the number 500. Was that the pitch that went back to the government? And secondly, just touch upon, this isn't not, it's an uphill battle, but we do have a lot of strong supporters in our corner, if you will. I mean, the one name that got kicked around the call I was on with you a week ago was, I believe, was David Piccini, an MPP who is a big supporter of everything that the other parts of the government recognized was a big push for us. So who should we be making sure we're keeping in office, and what was the number? What can you tell us about the proposal that was submitted last week?
So yeah, David's my local MPP, and he's been great. I don't know how many people know, but he actually beat my father in the last election. My father was a long-standing member here, but David is he's been a great supporter of us and a great supporter of my plans all along. We've been dealing with a couple of, we're on the phone with me and you, Clint, at the Ministry of Tourism. And they've been, I think, fighting a battle, but everything goes through the health unit. And Clint, you witnessed the phone call where they came out and said a hard cap doesn't pass the common sense rule. But it's out of their hands too. The Ministry of Health has come down with a where they think 100 is the number. But the funny thing is, you can have 100 people in your backyard, Clinton, as long as they socially distance. And I can only have 100 people here, and you can only have 100 people at Ashwegan, which it really doesn't make common sense. It doesn't pass a common sense test. But that's what they came down with. The newest plan is more of a percentage based on capacity, but social distancing is each track is going to be responsible to determine their own capacity and their own social distancing policy. They would manage that. With obviously, we all talk. We've been a part of a lot of emails. There's a lot of ideas going back and forth. So it's more of a common sense thing that if Flamborough seats 5,500 people, they can have more people than Brighton that seats 2,500 people, and I'm not sure what other tracks. I mean, Ashwegan obviously seats 5,000 plus. Merrittville's probably 3,000 plus. So Peterborough's up around the 4,000 to 5,000 mark, right? So all these tracks have different capacities, and I think we got to give the tracks some leeway to be responsible for themselves based on a set of criteria, right? And then, then if a track is doing something wrong, then the health units can come in and do whatever they need to do to get them back in order or penalize them or whatever. I'm not saying that that's the case, but really all I'm doing is trying to get a set of guidelines passed that the tracks can then follow.
Mark, the one thing I just want to talk about is, some of the things that we have been told will be probably mandatory, or masks, contact tracing. So those are some of the extra added costs. Like you mentioned, your water is not, amortized across everybody now. It's only on those 100 people. So now what happens, the same type of thing with those costs. It's not just like opening the gate like it was last year. You're going to have all these other processes we're going to have to go through, and services we may have to buy if you're going with something like Smart Waiver Online or whatever. So, we just want to be clear on that. The other thing I want you to touch quickly upon, Mark, and this is a common thing that comes up, is everybody says, well, why not just put a fence between each section of grandstands, put 100 in each, and then you're back to 500 people. They've very specifically said that's not going to be allowed. Can you speak to that for us?
Yeah, I mean, anybody can go onto Ontario.ca, opening of Phase 3, and read the rules and restrictions that were put through. And they were very clear. This was probably the most clear they've been in any of their guidance they've given us to date. And, they were very clear in saying you cannot combine different to your property to get the spectators or the amount of participants, not participants, but spectators and the group gathering larger than 100. Like even us who have quite our space at Brighton, we can't add 50 people inside to 100 people outside. The maximum is 100. The only leeway they've given us is that the performers, which in our case is drivers, and their crew are not part of the 100, nor our staff. So we could have 100 fans, but like you said, we need to now put steps in place for contact tracing, which is easier in the pits due to the waiver program and the waiver system, registration system that we have. But we would have to do that for spectators as well. We need to make sure that there's ushers in place, that social distancing is maintained. There's all sorts of complications around the rules that we'd be happy to work with and happy to do, provided that there was enough people to pay for it, right? Like, we all love racing. We all do this because we love racing, but at the end of the day, it also needs to make sense.
Adam, anything else you want to talk about government-wise with Mark before we move into Saturday?
No, there's really not. Just we appreciate the effort you're putting into, Mark, and I'm excited to head to Brighton this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Mark, let's talk about your race coming up Saturday. We're excited to bring it, to the fans live for free on GeForce TV at 7 p.m. this Saturday night. Part of our doubleheader weekend, we'll be heading to Merrittville on Sunday for their rained-out date, and we'll talk about that coming up soon. But, Mark, you have your 4 core divisions there, and we're excited to put them out. What's the buzz going on in, Brighton town these days about this Saturday's event? What are you hearing?
I think, my neighbors are actually going to be excited to hear race cars on a Saturday night. It's been a while, and there's a lot of people excited that we're back to racing. We got a really good car count, and we're excited we can put this on for the fans and the racers. It's unfortunate, we would love to have fans there, but at least they're going to get to sit, and we've really been promoting that they can stay at home and watch it for free on GeForce.tv. And so we've got a lot of people that are excited and a lot of people that plan to tune in and watch.
We should put out a recipe book for people, like to get a big cup or glass. Red Solo cup is probably better to begin the night. A couple of teaspoons full of dirt out of the garden. So as you're watching the race on GeForce, you just sprinkle a little bit of dirt in your beer as the night goes on. You'd probably almost feel like you were there.
Mark, you mentioned your neighbors. You do have some cool neighbors right on the backside of the pits there. They have their a little patio set up, and they watch over the pit area down the back straightaway. No, it's great. And let's talk quickly, Mark, about how you changing the rules a little bit. Not changing the rules, but opening it up. We've had a lot of these open style races with the late models and the UMP cars from Southern Ontario Motor Speedway and your track, and they put on a great series. So talk about the decision to open that up to get everybody in the province a chance to race here.
First, I just want to comment on Adam's thing. My one friend's really disappointed he can't be here, so his wife going to put a big screen in the backyard. She's going to pour him a beer in a glass, and then get the leaf blower and some dirt and start. He's actually in the Turn 4 beer garden. So people are doing all that kind of stuff. People are doing that kind of stuff to get excited, and because they're excited to watch racing again. But Yeah, so we opened up the late models and the UMP mods, and we did get I'm going to say probably less than 10, but more than 5 cars from southern end of the province that want to attend. Um, those guys they want a chance to race too. So we've proven in the past, especially at a lot of your events, Clint, that the two classes can run together on both late model and in modified, and it's put on some good racing. So we said, what the heck, if it gives those guys a chance to race and gives our fans on TV something a little different to watch at, then why not?
No, it's great. We won't keep you anymore, Mark. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all your help you've done. We're real excited to come down and hang out with you guys on Saturday. And as I told you yesterday on the phone, we're excited to show off. Even if you've been to Brighton Speedway your whole life, I think you're going to get to see a few different angles of the racing this weekend with us on the broadcast that you haven't. I know that's one thing I found. I've been to Merrittville my whole life, but when I watched it back, we were seeing whole new views that I just a new experience. So even if you're a longtime Brighton fan and think, what do I want to watch a stupid race on the internet, you're going to like what we bring to you Saturday night. So check it out. Thanks, Mark, for being with us, and we'll see you Saturday night at 7 p.m. live from Brighton. Adam, I know we're excited to get back there. Mark's a great guy, and Andrew's going to kick your ass for all the bad shit you said about Brighton and being in the middle of you just blow it off like, but you're going to cower like a little kitten when you walk in that driveway. We both know it.
Nobody, yeah, and there's going to be no cameras rolling, so I can stay tough for now. She's been sending me messages as the interview went on. 25 Thunderstock, 17 late models. We got 84 registered participants. So Angie is great. She is on top of everything. No, I'm looking forward to being there for sure. I think it's going to be a great show. I'm still a little bit ticked at you for kiboshing my idea earlier today, but whatever.
What was your idea today?
My camera location.
Oh, well, you wanted to put it in an infield tire. Yeah, well, I
wanted to bolt it to one of the infield tires, but we'd need a camera that's disposable because there's no way it would survive the night. But while it was there, wouldn't that be cool?
We've been getting a little bit more daring with the speed shot. I've been hanging it a little bit more over the wall, and I said to Spencer last 2 races, you might want to give it its last back. Yeah, it might not come back today, but it's going to be badass while it works.
But of all places, I think Brighton would be the coolest one to be down on the inside of the track.
Yeah, you said an infield tire. And I said, I've never ever called a race at Brighton where every infield tire didn't get run over at least once in the night, which would be a good shot. So who knows down the line. Back to Brighton quickly for a second, though. If you still want to get registered, I believe you can contact them, whether you're a mini stock, Thunderstock that's under the ODCC rules, if you're a UMP mod from Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, or obviously if you're a Brighton car, you know this already. And if you're a late model, contact them. If you're a Southern Ontario Motor Speedway car or from anywhere, Humberstone, make sure you check that out. And you can still get registered. And if I'm wrong, Ange, message Adam and give him the correct information because I'm not looking at my phone right now. That takes us to our second night of the doubleheader dirt weekend, which is Merrittville Speedway, which is the rain out from July 11th, I believe it is. So we're back here on a strange Sunday for Merrittville, but excited to be there. Spencer, throw that up if you've got it. The 360 Sprints are going to get their first bit of action here in Ontario on Saturday night, so we're excited to have that going on with the 358 Modifieds getting their big race, their second event, because they kicked off the Operation Green Flag here at Humberstone. And it'll be this is the rained out from July 11th. It's going to happen this Sunday. I thought I sent you the new one, Spencer. 358 Modifieds, 40 laps, and then you've got also Hoosier Stocks and 360 Sprint. So excited to get that going. Excited to get back to Merrittville for their second race of Operation Green Flag. And I think that takes us out of the weekend. Anything you want to add for the weekend coming up, Adam?
It's going to be a good weekend, a busy weekend. We're going to have apparel, I believe. Am I premature here, Clinton?
No, that's what last thing I just sent to Spencer. Spencer, if you've got those pictures I sent there and you can get them up right away, we'll have T-shirts for sale for $20 for GeForce TV. And if you want one of the T-shirts, let us know. We can get you one of those going. And also ball caps for $25, I think we said they were going to go for. We'll figure that out for sure. And nice baseball hats too. So I'm excited to get that going. I live in my black T-shirt, so if I can have a G-Force logo on it, that'd be great. But awesome to have Greg to whip those up for us right away. So we hope to have those available. And there's the flyer from this weekend. Sunday, July 26th, G-Force is back in action. So awesome. 7 p.m. Eastern, both nights, Saturday and Sunday, dirt doubleheader. It's going to be great to bring all this action to everybody when you can't get out to the tracks. We're proud to be able to present that action for you. Don't forget to go to G-Force TV, subscribe, and as Greg says, ring the little bell, and you'll be notified when all the programming comes on, like this program, like our iRacing, and all the other great stuff we've got in the works, which is amazing. We're going to talk about that coming up. Whew. Take a break here. Like your mom would say, just be quiet for a minute.
I appreciate what Mike, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, Kura just posted
Kura?
saying that Vladdy G just hit a homer out of Fenway. We got some sort of sports on tonight. Because we always read the comments as the shows go on, Clinton, and I think that's a great comment. It shows you how important our live sports are. How important, and not how important we are, but the fact that we get to go from track to track. I know there's a lot of things making people unhappy right now, but we've been able to feed people live sports when even the major leagues couldn't. Finally, we're able to watch Major League Baseball the last 2 nights, some preseason action, and people are just gobbling it up because they need it. So I just found that comment interesting.
Yeah, motorsports in general were the first ones up and going, and certainly got a lot more eyes on us. We've had many discussions about NASCAR. I think they screwed up all the eyes they had on them in the last month, but that's another story for another day. Bringing up, speaking of another story for another day, Spencer, roll the video I sent you today on the YouTube that came out, and I saw this morning. It was a big story from close to my hometown, 15 minutes down the road, Niagara Falls. Clifton Hill's a real tourist area there. They had tons of fans going around, and this video came out today on social media, and by 6 o'clock, it was on all the major news articles. And this is what our argument was last week, where we said, why are churches allowed to have their capacity way more than we are? All these other things are open. Racetracks could put systems in place to maintain social distancing, to do contact tracing, do all these things that they couldn't do in this video. Now roll it, Spencer, if you've got it. It's the YouTube video, and this is Niagara Falls, Clifton Hill. It's a tourist area. This isn't Kansas Morning. This is just open streets, just people walking around, crowds of people standing around everywhere. And these are people from all over, meaning Toronto, Hamilton, Niagara, the whole gamut running here. And this is that's not even a bad image, but the image there of them in the middle there, like, look at that crowd of people. We would never let that go on at a racetrack, and just shocked by it. That was part of my anger and argument last week, is they're letting all this other crap go where we have the power to maintain it and even kick people out if they don't maintain it because we're private property. In the public, it's going all the shit.
Yeah, I was in Niagara Falls. I was on Clifton Hill Saturday.
Oh, you're part of the problem.
My wife wanted to take her mom and her brother down there. Says, yeah, no problem. We'll drive down. We didn't go to the falls. The crowds there were shoulder to shoulder. We did do Clifton Hill, Clinton, and I wasn't comfortable. And Angie will tell you, ask her this weekend, I just wasn't comfortable in those crowds because people weren't taking any precautions. Some of the businesses were. Like, I will say there were things happening that were proper. I watched the go-kart track, for example. I thought, how the heck anyhow, how do you keep germs from spreading when you have a different pair of hands on the things every 5 minutes?
One of the lineups there was the go-karts, and they were lined up for a mile, six wide. Yeah. It was like, wow. And I was just shocked. And it just goes to show, I don't know. I don't want to get back in last week's argument, but that's basically just puts a punctuation point on what's going on. And they're going to clamp down on it all this week, Clifton Hill. But by 6 o'clock, when all the media picked up on, like, oh, there's going to be changes down there. So anyways, some more news that came out this week, came out yesterday. The Pinty's 100 pushed back to 2021, Adam. And this is something that you, as one of my advisors and counselors in life, was discussing with me for a long time, figuring out what do we do. You're also close to the situation as one of the NASCAR, announcers who's been on the tour for 10 years now. Plus, tough decision. But as it said in the article and the release, we wanted to do it right. and we had to do it. So the Pinty's 100 will be pushed back to 2021. Before we talk too much about it, just want to mention that if you want to keep your seats, we made some changes today. You can just keep your seats, and when we get our date, it's tentatively booked for the same basically week now in August is the plan for us anyways. We have a lot of things that'll happen between now and then with us and NASCAR and other moving pieces. It could move, but tentatively scheduled for third week in August as it would have been. So if you want to keep your seats, just keep your seats. If you want a refund, call the track phone 519-717-0023, and Mary Wilkinson will get you all geared up and help you process your refund. So if you want your refund back, we can help you out with that. But if you don't want to do anything, you can just hold on to your seats. Your tickets will still be the same spot for the rescheduled event. So if you're into it, I know Mike Cura, who you mentioned earlier, was one of the guys who requested that. Said, hey, I'd rather just hold on to my seats. My tickets are paid, and when it comes around, we'll be ready to go to it. So we did make those changes for you, Mike. And so if you do want a refund, once again, that number is 519-717-0023, 519-717-0023. Check that out, and you can call Mary and get your refund. But Adam, we had huge plans for that event. 25th year Rush Weekend Speedway, just some of the stuff because now it's all gone down the drain for this year. Big country concert. Okay, so that's one thing we can talk a bit about now. The Canadian Country Music Awards approached us early on through NASCAR and was working with us through their promotions group. The CCMAs are in Hamilton 2 weeks after our race was going to be. They had a big concert that they wanted to do. I just got to see Cole Swindell when I was at Daytona, so I had the bug for a big concert with racing. It would have fit great into our party and camping plan, if you will. Another thing we had talked about, we're bringing in some superstars. Some of the names that were kicked around were guys like Mario Andretti and AJ Foyt, because we have friends who kick boots with those guys and could bring them up. And I think I envisioned a big concert stage with a country band, and during the day, a whole day of scheduled events where we have meet and greets. Celebrate the 25 years of Vosh Weekend with a big reunion would have been great over those 2 days, and honor some of the great people we've had there. So all those were going on. The superstars that we were lined up, the ones that were announced already were a few hometown guys from Rush Weekend, but then we also had, Stuart Friesen, who won the Eldora dirt race last year. He was set to come up in a World of Outlaw winners at Rush Weekend. Kenny Schrader, Kenny Wallace. The list goes on and on. We were working on Haley Deegan when it all came out. And we knew there were going to be more. Look at Glenn Steyer's recent relationship strengthening with Kyle Larson now by the sponsorship marketing program they've got. So I'm sure we could have gotten our claws into Kyle Larson. Man, disappointing, but we have a year now to make it better. That's the way I got to look at it, right?
Yeah, the trouble was, Clint, if you did hold that race out, you never get a second chance to host an inaugural event, right?
Yeah.
You want to make the biggest splash you possibly can. And I just don't think there's a splash to be made in 2020.
It was talked about doing a race for TV or doing an exhibition, but I'm with you. We needed. There are a lot of people who bet against that race, said we wouldn't get 18 cars, said we wouldn't get a full field. We were looking at 24 to 28, 30 cars. And I may be dreaming big, but we were pushing hard. We were putting the deals together to make this happen. And you put me in touch with a lot of these owners we discussed deals with. So I'm excited about it. I still think it's going to be amazing. One of the other things we're able to announce is that in our negotiations with the postponement, our 3-year contract will start next year. So it's not like we're losing a year. We're just moving it back a season. It just, the best way to put it was, you need the borders open, and this race had to matter were the two factors that were the big decisions in it. We expected a big contingent of race fans, and we needed to get the superstars over as well. So that brings us up to, so once again, if you want to keep your seats, do nothing. If you want your refunds, call Mary, 519-717-0023. Moving on from that, that brings us to where we are this week. Rush Weekend's still stuck in phase 2. No opening of phase 3 yet, and that's when they said we could discuss what's going on with the racetrack. So unfortunately, micro sprints, karting, racing, everything on Rush Weekend is just officially on hold right now. So we'll bring you news with that as soon as we have it. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot to say other than construction's going on like mad around there. That was the other part of the release. It talked about the new cellular networks with we're working on free Wi-Fi for all our fans, which is going to be awesome, so they can tune in and watch all the replays and everything live as they happen without burning up their data. especially for our American friends. It's going to be huge for them to help tweet their seats and share all the awesome stuff they're seeing when they come up and visit us. New concrete walls, new buildings, new VIP suites, new pavement, all kinds of great stuff going on. So we're not slowing down. For anybody who's wondering if Glenn is just putting the parachute out, no, he's not. If anything, he's free falling even more. So that's it about my day job. What else do you want to talk about? How about the APC series coming up, Adam? And we're excited about that. You know, the APC series, why don't you tell us what that's all about if you're a dirt fan and know Adam and I from the dirt tracks, why they should be excited about us getting on board with the APC series in our first event, which will be coming up on August 8th from Jukasa Speedway live on GeForce TV, free streamed to the world for free.
There's a lot of reasons why you should be excited. For one, it is the biggest short track racing series in Ontario of any type. Late models, popular type of race car, so it draws the best of the best. You could argue it's not a national series, but it's right up there with the best series in Canada, the Maritime Pro Stock Tour, the Pinty series. There's a few series that are recognizable across the country. APC is one of them. And I think it's a big feather in our cap, Clinton, that we got invited to the dance. They invited us to come and help them present their product. So, you know, if you're a dirt racing fan, you're a dirt racing fan. That's fine. But we hope that you give it a chance. Come and watch the action. You never know. You might just enjoy it.
You know, some of our best action, you said, on G4 so far this summer was the Pure Stock, Super Stock, Mini Stock event at Flamborough. Put on some great action, and we're happy to be part of that. Also part of the event, though, is going to be the Oscar Modifieds and the which is the Queenston Chevrolet Oscar Modifieds and the Nightworks Design Hot Rods. And both are experiencing fairly good car counts. They're expecting around 20 cars each in both those divisions, so that's exciting. The Hot Rods always put on a good show. We want to mention that we're just entering into a marketing partnership with NRS Brakes. So Spencer, throw up their logo and their product if you can for us. We're excited to say that NRS Brakes is signed on for a multi ad placement partnership with us on GeForce TV for the August 8th event, and they'll be major presenting partners of the Hot Rod portion of the broadcast. So I want to welcome NRS Brakes, and they're a Toronto company, and I want to thank them for everything they've done to get on board with us. And he says my contact there mentioned that they're in talks with them right now regarding production of racing grade brakes built to suit Ontario racers, and still some ways to go, and interesting to see. So thanks to everybody who reached out to us from my Oscar Hot Rods and hooked us up with NRS Brakes. We do have other opportunities still available for those broadcasts if you want to get on board with our marketing partnerships. All the races have been seen over 10,000 times already, so it's a good chance to get a target audience. If you're interested, look us up and we can get you in touch with the right folks to get you some good pricing and get you some good value for your marketing dollars if you're a company here interested in investing in racing in Ontario. With that being said, Adam, I'm excited about that. To get back to Jukasa, it was one of the races we were kind of intimidated about in the beginning because, you know, our equipment and the cable lengths, and it's going to be a whole big extra undertaking for us. Doubleheader for the APC series, so there's a lot to look forward to on that day. I got wind that they think they're just going to do time trials and straight into the feature, so it'll likely be a 75-lap APC feature, then the modifieds, the hot rods, and back to the APC for the other 75-lap feature. It was just an awesome day at an awesome facility. I'm super excited to show off Jukasa. I got to think, you know, we're just speculating here, but, you know, our excitement factor, even Spencer was like, I'd love to show that place under the light. So I think it might work out that we might have one in the daytime and the other feature under the lights, and that would be awesome.
And it's late enough into the summer that it gets dark early enough. And while we're talking about asphalt racing, a great point by one of our viewers. Let's give a shout out, all the positive thoughts you can, to Brandon White. He's battling cancer. We've been getting updates from his brother Derek on Facebook. And he's been beating the odds, but he is in a fight. So put Brandon White in your thoughts. If you're the praying type, put him in your prayers. You could use everything that you've got.
For sure, man. Can the bad news just stop at any point? That'd be a little bit cooler. But this is the first of 4 race days we've booked with APC, so we're excited to be doing that. Jukasa, Sauble, Flamborough, and back to Jukasa. So it's going to be awesome. If you haven't checked it out, and there are the dates. Saturday, August 8th, the round 1 and 2 of the APC series, as we just mentioned. Then Sauble, Flamborough, and Jukasa. So super excited to be part of that deal. Once again, that's free streamed live here on GeForceTV.net for your viewing pleasure. So it's going to be awesome to present those races. A couple other events we're talking about. We've been to Flamborough, so we know what we got to do there. But Sauble Adam is another thing we're excited to. A nice little bull ring. Going to be great. We're going to make a bit of a vacation out of it, and we booked some time up at Sauble Falls Tent and Trailer Park. So excited to spend some time up there prior to the race and get some vacation time in midst of the craziness.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that show. It's always a relaxing trip when you go to Sauble Beach. You have the thrash of the racing, like you say. Then you go back to the trailer park. You just take it down a notch. We'll have to get up bright and early. We may be going elsewhere on the Sunday, but we'll be able to enjoy that Saturday night in each other's company. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of racers staying there.
Yeah, good deal. So check that out if you're interested. And who knows where we'll be with fans when we get back to that time. Spencer, do you have the Brockville ad for August 1st? The flyer I sent you today, I believe. Just want to mention Brockville's having a race on August 1st, and want to wish them the best with what's going on there. The crate sprints are part of that. 358 modifieds in a couple of the divisions. So check that out if you're in the Brockville area and racing and interested to get out. They have announced their event, and for the crate sprints around here, make sure you get down there and check it out. Some of our guys went last week. Jacob Dykstra won and said it was great. Also, while we're on that, we will be at Brighton this Saturday, but want to wish all our friends at Flamborough good luck with their live stream that's going to happen. They've got a production going on there too, which is cool. And, lots of racing going on if you're a race fan. I'm hopeful that theirs will go like 4 to 7 so we can kind of watch theirs while we're setting up, and then we'll take it from Brighton at 7, which would be timed out perfectly. So we'll see how that works out.
You've got to remember, the reason we do this, Clint, we're race fans. So you're exactly right. I'm going to sit at Brighton. If we can watch the Flamborough feed, I'll be watching the action. I want to see the hobby cars. I want to see the TQ midgets. There's a ton of pure stocks coming out. So that's what we do it for. So I heard a little bit of rumbling that people might be disappointed that we weren't there, or we might be disappointed that we couldn't be there, and we are. But there's certainly no ill will. We want everyone to go racing and everything to be successful.
We're an open book. The last race we did at Flamborough was on the Saturday there. It was great, successful. We left there, everything. And then I think it was the next night, Sunday night, they announced they were doing a race. Nobody talked to us, and we're friends with Doug and Gary and John. So I called them. They said, yeah, we're going to try it on our own. So we were like, okay. And then, we got talking to Mark and Ange, and they said, yeah, we'd love to have it. We're going to do a race. So we ended up putting it together with them. And then by the time we heard back from Flamborough, we'd already locked one down. So unfortunately, I know Merrittville would have liked to have had this weekend as their rainout date for their July 11th, but it just, we can't hold these dates for rainouts right now unless we got some certainty. So, Spencer, I don't know if you can share the picture I sent you there at Brockville or not. Yeah, there we go. And I just sent you another picture we're going to talk about shortly, so if you get that one ready. 1000 Islander V presents the Southern Sizzler Saturday, August 1st, and that's down at, as we mentioned, at Brockville. And it will be the modified sportsman rookie, mini stocks, and crate sprints. So check that out. And you never know what will come down the pipe there. Something else I wanted to mention quickly. Spencer, the picture I just sent you of Chaz, can you send that one? I don't know if a lot of our viewers know who the Chaz is. Super controversial guy here in the racing world, in the dirt. Big on the sprint car scene. Not afraid to spout off and speak his mind. Against a lot of the things that we call the standard dirt establishment. Got a lot of views. So Adam's going to do some research, and I got some wind. We got a common buddy, the Chaz and I, Andrew Smith, who is a racer out of New York State, and the Sportsman. We sponsored him with some stuff to go to Florida with this year. I noticed he had the Chaz in his, and it's actually Chaz Thompson. He had Chaz in his shop the other night. So I messaged him. I said, hey, we got to get Chaz on our show. And he said, no problem. Let's set it up. So we're going to try and get that set up for next week. So if you know who the Chaz is. Get your questions ready, get your comments, and we'll see what happens. So we're going to work on getting Chaz on the show. And we talked about getting him up to Oshweekend for a race last year, and we'll see how that goes. But did you get to check him out at all, Adam, yet?
No, I haven't. No,
All right.
but it'll be fun.
Well,
I'll square off. I'll go toe to toe with him.
You're such an ass. You don't even know what you're arguing about. But you're like, oh, I'll argue.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, you said he was good. I'm willing to tackle it.
All right. So if you're interested in that, check us out. We'll bring you more news on that as we have it. That brings us to our Burger Barn video of the week, Adam, and it's confusion on the white lap. And did you send this, or did Spencer send this to the group?
Thanks, Spencer.
Okay, so Spencer found this one. He sent it to us. So check this one out. This is, and I actually got to experience this when I was, fairly green announcer at Merrittville Speedway in the early days. So play the video, Spencer.
He was the winner on night number 2 of the tour last year. And your leader
white
is
flag
pulled off
came
of the
out.
white flag. Almost everyone's pulling off of the racetrack. Everyone is pulling off of the racetrack on the white flag. The crowd is
leader
going
thought the
crazy
race was
right now,
over.
trying to tell everybody, keep going.
And everyone just,
I just wanna
monkey
if
see,
somebody's
monkey
gonna get the
do.
memo here at the top of turn number 2. There's
Now
a
watch, the
couple of
last
them that
guy.
stop. The Mike Anderson's going to turn. And
The
look at
very
this.
last place car.
I have
Mike.
never... This is
Oh,
outstanding.
look at that straight
Ladies and
stock, man.
gentlemen,
That's
on your
what they're
feet
supposed
right
to look
now.
like.
We need you on
Yeah.
your feet as everybody's turning around on a turn number 2. The 18 will win it. He'll cross.
Look at this. Everybody else is coming back out onto the racetrack. Mike Anderson will be
That's
your winner.
awesome.
Keaton Fromke is going to come out in second spot.
And it's happened. It's happened at every level of racing, and it will happen again. As now the dog has just jumped up on the couch and crushed my camera.
I watched
You
the
won't see
Candyman
his
Mike
head
Dooley
be-
do it in the car
Yeah,
that looked just
exactly.
like that.
Yep.
Took the white flag, pulled in off turn 1 and 2 at Merrittville, down by the scales, and it was a race to see who made it back out. And I think the crew got to Mike first and got to him and said, "Hey, man, and in Merrittville, it's kind of a one-way road. You can't race down pit road." So once the crew ran up to him and said, I think they were on their way to meet him at the scales, and they said, "You got one more lap." So he pulled out and did end up completing the race, if I recall it correctly. But interesting, funny times. Back in the day, sometimes we have some hilarious stuff goes on. So that brings us to just want to send a shout out to our other great supporters who are with us. Jibs Action Sports every week. Mark Zubai has been seeing Mark around the races lately, and just great to see what he does, always supporting us and a lot of the race teams around here. Of course, Brian's Farm for everything they do as well. We appreciate Brian and their team and everything they've got going, and Ken Lillycrop and all his staff down there for what they do for us. So thanks so much for your support. If you're around, make sure you get down and check them out. The other one I want to talk about quickly is Oshweekend Speedway Race Source. Spencer, throw those pictures up if you've got them. If you need anything for your sprint car or race car, get out and check us out. We just made a deal at OSR with Weld Wheels, so if you need hubs, wheels, anything like that, give us a call. It's email info@osrparts.com. Custom radius rods. These are hubs we've got. And if you need radius rods or custom hoses, we can make all that in-house. So make sure you give us an email at info@osrparts. That's a quick look at some of the new black Weld wheels they've got in stock. Those are the radius rods, so all sizes and dimensions. Give us a call if you need any radius rods made or in stock. And these are custom hoses, high pressure things for lake power steering lines and fuel lines. We can get those done for you. So give us a call or email us at info@osrparts.com. That takes us to another thing I got just as we were getting ready to go on the air, and that was from Steve Shaw at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway competitor. They sent out a race, and it will be September 19th, which is the same day as the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals are scheduled for right now, and it will be September 19th, 1,000 to win late models, 800 to win for the modified, 600 for the Thunder Stocks. All classes run track rules, 250 for the driver and 4 crew, and if you want to get on, you can email bjharrison3305 at hotmail.com or look them up on their Facebook page. and that'll be interesting. So Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, Adam, a lot of construction going on. We talked a lot about it in February and January and all the work that Henry was doing out to the place. I have been following the story for the past month or so not sure where he got to, but sounds like they're going to be ready to have something go down in September. And, probably with no fans is going to make it a bit easier because, he doesn't have to worry about his concessions, fencing on that side, grandstands, all those other type of things that, may not still be an issue. So anybody who's down the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway area, give us an update. Send us what you know. Adam, thoughts on that?
We didn't think that was going to happen this year, Clint. We didn't see that taking place at all. As you say, the fact that he can't have fans really might not slow him down all that much. So maybe it's a benefit. Just focus on the racing surface, get a pit area together, and I hope this is going to happen. I hope this for the racers in southwestern Ontario.
Henry's probably one of the guys who lucked up mostly by COVID, if I can say it that way. And what I mean by that is he was behind the 8 ball with construction, permits, and the community, and all kinds of issues he had there that we're documenting here on this program, put him behind. So this virus kind of stopping up the season, a lot of the other tracks haven't got to do anything either. And in the meantime, he's been able to get caught up on a lot of the projects. So I'm happy, as Mark Rinaldi, who was on this program earlier, explained to us, and he's instilled in me over the past 15 years is, it doesn't do us any good to lose a speedway. We all need the fans. We all need each other's fans. So it's good. And especially what you've seen with us getting everybody on the Ontario Dirt Competition Committee, which is common rules for mini stock and street stock. Now you're seeing guys like, Steve Shaw travel all across the province and show up at a place like Brighton or Merrittville or Humberstone because he can and knows his car's legit and competitive. It just as much as it is at his home track. And that's been the beauty of the dirt motorsports model for a long time. And great to see that the sport classes have got on board with that as well. We got about 7 minutes left in the show. If there's any question or comments I missed, Adam, feel free to jump in here. We just been chugging on through because I can't wait to get back to my beautiful lasagna that's waiting for me as soon as I get off. Let's talk about another thing that came in last minute on the Peacock Network, which I believe is an offshoot of NBC. Dale Jr. has been working on a new project called Lost Speedways, and today I came out with a video which was a ride along with Gary Ballou, Hot Shoe Ballou, and I picked up Gary Ballou's book and met him at Volusia, got him to sign it, and if you've not read the book, it's great. It's a great read, even if you're a racing fan and want to hear what things were back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. It's amazing. He's raced everything from pavement to dirt, Daytona to Syracuse. It's just a great story, but a lot of the story is about his criminal past and how he got off the wayward path from the racing and got on the criminal path of drug smuggling. But it's a great read, and Gary's straightened out his life now. He's an old timer, but a legend in the sport. So let's look at the ride along video as they took a ride around Middle Georgia Speedway with Gary Ballou and Dale Jr., and Gary's showing them the fast way around from back in the day as they relive old speedways here that they're finding that are still kind of around. Spencer with the video.
Right there you go. You gotta go all the way to the wall, though. Get out of that shit.
So Dale Jr.'s driving.
Turn it down now. Turn it down to the bottom. Now roll around the bottom. Roll. Now start gassing up. Gas it up. To the wall. All right, easy now, easy. That's right. Now turn it down. Run the bottom. Roll. Now start gassing up. Don't get anything. Hit me in the face. Up high. Now down in. Turn it down. Now let it roll. Start gassing up. Start gassing up. That's good. I've had enough.
I didn't know too many old race car drivers who like to ride passenger.
No, exactly. I'll tell you what, I love Dale Jr.'s enthusiasm for racing. He didn't always see it while he was a racer, while he was a cup driver. But since then, he's thrown a lot of love at some of the short tracks and looking for lost speedways, and I think it's really cool.
For sure, man. Well, I think we're going to cut a bit short tonight. Don't forget, we have our doubleheader this weekend. Make sure you check us out live on GeForce TV. Subscribe. and click the notification so you get notified when we come on the air. We'll be live 7 p.m. Eastern both nights from Brighton on Saturday and Merrittville on Sunday. 2 super exciting programs. So if you're into that, check it out. If you're an asphalt fan, we've got tons of great pavement coming up with our first big race kicking off August 8th with the APC series, along with the Oscar Hot Rods and Modifieds. So I think that's it, man. Adam, you go get some rest, and prayers to you and the family. Hugs all around. Tough day for you guys, but your mom's proud of you, buddy. I know that.
Yeah.
So
Mom and Dad reunited. That's a good thing.
and with that, we're gonna close. Rest in peace. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Thank you.